In Iceland, they have one of the most open cultures when it comes to sexual relationships. They are also open to nudism, which can be shocking for people from other countries and cultures. On the other hand, it can also be surprising for Icelanders that people from other nationalities feel so much modesty about being naked or engaging in casual relationships. For Icelanders, it is normal to openly discuss sexuality. In Icelandic culture, relationships and nudism are seen as natural, and people do not feel ashamed to express them. Icelandic women have a significant influence within society and in their households. They tend to be assertive, take initiative, and are not dependent on men. Today, Iceland is known as a destination to explore its stunning and unusual landscapes. Volcanoes, glaciers, horses, puffins, sheep, and overall nature, which Icelanders greatly appreciate. It is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful and striking countries. An example of Iceland's amazing nature is Skógafoss waterfall, surrounded by vibrant green grass in the summer, but covered in snow during the winter. Iceland, not just a destination, but a mirror to reflect the freedom within your soul. Hello everyone. In the heart of winter, Skógafoss stretches 82 feet wide and drops nearly 197 feet, like a silver ribbon falling from the sky. Legend says the very first Viking buried treasure in the cave beneath this mighty waterfall. Yet Iceland is not only about nature. There was once talk of so-called dirty weekends. A famous airline even helped spread the message of sexual freedom with bold slogans. A wild night in Reykjavik. Miss Iceland awaits you. For Icelanders, it was all humour, nothing to take too seriously. The Blue Lagoon, a sapphire shining in the ice. An artificial spa that stays warm all year, where people sink into hot waters while the winter winds rage outside. More than a tourist attraction, it mirrors the spirit of Icelandic freedom. Here, men and women live with remarkable openness. No need for endless dating. Sometimes intimacy comes first, a way to see if there is true connection. At times, it is even the woman who takes the initiative, inviting the man home after their very first evening. In the United States, Mexico, and much of Europe and Asia, there are unwritten rules in dating. Several outings, sometimes 3, before intimacy is acceptable. But in Iceland, the pattern often flows the other way. Here, physical closeness usually comes first, followed by dating. If there is true connection, love grows afterward. This is not seen with judgment, but embraced as part of the culture. Such freedom has deep roots. It reaches back to Iceland's earliest settlers, where gender equality and openness in sexuality were woven into the fabric of society. Iceland, a land where history and freedom intertwine, shaping a culture unlike any other. In 874, Ingólfur Arnason and his wife, Halldóra Fróðadóttir, settled in Reykjavik. From that moment, Viking society took root, harsh, yet astonishingly open. For centuries, women tended homes, raised children, hunted, built, and farmed. Yet some became warriors, even leaders on the battlefield. Viking culture held an open view of sexuality. Premarital intimacy was common. A woman could even test her future husband, and if he failed to please her, she had every right to refuse marriage. Girls could marry from the age of 15, often to older men, but the final choice was theirs. Once married, Viking women could divorce, inherit land, and walk away if conditions were unmet. Divorce could even stem from unusual reasons: cross-dressing, homosexuality, or denying marital relations. In the Icelandic sagas of the 10th and 11th centuries, sexual relations appear frequently, woven into daily life. But in 1707, smallpox struck, killing about 12,000 Icelanders, a quarter of the entire population. At that time, under the Danish crown, the king decreed that every woman must bear 6 children, married or not. In crisis, it was not seen as unfair or shameful, but as survival itself. This harsh history shaped the culture that followed. In Iceland, there were no courtship dances, no long rituals of romance as in other lands. Intentions remained direct, clear. Since Viking times, women had the right to engage in premarital relations to choose a husband. And even today, that echo remains. Intimacy may come first, and only then the decision whether to deepen love. If you found this story of Iceland captivating and thought-provoking, leave a comment, give it a like, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel to explore more wonders together. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, press 2, but if it didn't quite impress you, press 0, so I'll know and create videos that touch you even more. For Icelanders, the order is simple. Meet someone at a party, bar, or app. Go to one another's place. Share intimacy, and only then decide whether to keep seeing each other. Signs of equality are everywhere. In universities, there are about 2 female students for every male. In Parliament, women hold nearly half the seats. And in Iceland, it is never assumed that only men desire sex. Women do too. And they know how to ask for it clearly, without hesitation. This assertiveness may feel intimidating to men from other countries. Yet in Iceland, it is natural. There is no shaming of women who speak their desire. It's quite the opposite. It is seen as strength, as a mark of respect, as the courage to claim one's freedom. In Iceland, a woman with many partners is not shamed. Instead, it is seen as normal, for she is strong, capable, and comfortable with who she is. Icelanders do not idealize love, nor indulge in excessive romance as other cultures do. Yet this does not mean they lack emotion. Rather, feelings often follow the carnal act, not precede it. This order is rooted in both history and survival. From 879 to 1170, a warm phase allowed settlement, but by the late 12th century, a cooling period began. Winters in December, January and February can drop to 3 degrees, while July and August rarely exceed 15 degrees. Though not as extreme as places where it falls below 25 degrees C, violent storms and fierce winds make life demanding. In such a land, survival has always come first, and intimacy naturally shaped itself around that reality. In 934, shortly after the first Viking settlements, Iceland witnessed one of the largest volcanic eruptions in its history, Eldgjá. Rivers of lava and toxic gases spread across Europe, reaching as far as China. The Vikings, coming from lands without volcanoes, had no idea what they were witnessing. Was it a natural disaster, or the wrath of the gods? Today, Iceland counts a population of about 372,000, with roughly 60,000 married couples. Yet marriage here follows a different rhythm. In many countries, people date, then marry, then have children. In Iceland, the order often reverses. Intimacy comes first, then dating, cohabitation and children. Only years later, if they wish, couples may finally marry. In Iceland, 70% of children are born to unmarried parents, yet broken or estranged families are rare. After separation or divorce, it is common to share meals, see one another, even get along with ex-partners and their new companions. The idea of a completely ended relationship hardly exists. Another cultural surprise lies in nudity. Here, bathing naked is not sexual. You can soak in natural hot springs without worry. And if an Icelander passes by, they won't see it as scandalous. For them, it is a way of blending with nature, of accepting human essence. Popular bathing spots like Landmannalaugar or Proverbalia may be contaminated, and pregnant women, children, or those with weak immunity should avoid them. And while Icelanders are relaxed about nudity, it does not mean you can stroll naked through downtown Reykjavik or walk into a geothermal spa full of people. In public pools, swimwear is still the norm, though women are not legally required to wear bikini tops nor men's shirts. The places where nudity is most visible are the showers and spas of public pools. But here, an unwritten rule applies: never stare at private parts. And now, having learned more about Icelandic women and the cultural customs of both sexes, you might wonder, in a country with such a small population, how do people even meet each other? Iceland is a small nation, and dating here takes on a very different rhythm. There is even a system to check ancestry, ensuring couples who plan to have children are not too closely related. Meeting in a cafe in town is rare, for the risk of being seen by someone familiar is high. Instead, people often go somewhere far, share a few drinks to ease shyness, and then return home. Connections are made in many ways. Through apps, social networks, bars, gyms, universities. And here, there are no cultural rules requiring men to take the lead. Women invite just as often, pay their share, or sometimes the entire bill. It is no wonder Iceland is ranked among the best places in the world to be a woman. Nearly 90% are employed. They dominate universities, hold half the seats in parliament. And history remembers Vigdis Finnbogadóttir, the first woman in the world elected president in a democratic vote, leading Iceland from 1980 to 1996. If you found this story of Iceland captivating and thought-provoking, leave a comment, give it a like, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel to explore more wonders together. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, press 2. But if it didn't quite impress you, press 0, so I'll know and create videos that touch you even more. From the Viking era, gender equality has carried into modern law. In 1850, Iceland became the first nation in the world to grant women equal inheritance rights. And since 2021, couples with children are entitled to 12 months of paid leave, 6 months each, with 80% of their income if working full-time. Though Iceland holds a positive view of sexuality and nudity, its people do not want the country to be seen as a destination for carnal tourism. What Iceland truly offers are its breathtaking natural wonders, far greater than any fleeting indulgence. In daily life, both men and women tend to be reserved, rarely speaking to strangers. Icelandic women may be decisive, bold, and assertive. Yet this does not mean that anyone arriving here can dismiss respect or mistake freedom for invitation. Do not imagine that in Iceland you can simply walk into a bar, invite a woman, and instantly win her over. Unless you are truly attractive, this is unlikely. Talking to strangers is often seen as odd, except late at night when alcohol softens the air. Yet even then, respect is always expected. Only by spending real time here, working with Icelanders, immersing yourself in their customs, will you come to understand their women. Independent, determined, fearless in speaking of sexuality and of what they want. Iceland is not only the land of silver waterfalls, hot springs, and Viking legends. It is also the youngest geological country in Europe, a land still being born each day, where small earthquakes and pillars of steam remind its people that nature here is both breathtaking and fragile. The Icelanders have learned to live in harmony with this harsh beauty. Nearly all of their energy comes from geothermal and hydro power. Harnessing the earth itself has made Iceland one of the cleanest, greenest nations on the planet. Its culture mirrors this spirit, resilient, creative, and deeply rooted. Icelanders read more books per capita than any other people, and the sagas of their Viking ancestors still burn like a timeless flame. In Reykjavik, a tiny yet vibrant capital, you will find a society both modern and calm. Modest cafes, snowy streets, walls alive with graffiti, all reflecting a country that does not boast, does not shout, yet pulls you in with quiet, irresistible strength. Iceland, not only a land of freedom and equality, but proof that even in the harshest places, humanity can build a society both compassionate and enduring. But Iceland is not defined only by its landscapes or progressive laws. It holds within it a profound spiritual life. Icelandic music, from ancient Malur folk songs to the ethereal sounds of björk and sigur rós, carries the pulse of volcanoes, the breath of icy winds, and the solitude of an island adrift in the North Atlantic. Listening feels like hearing Iceland's very heartbeat. And in the long winter nights, when the northern lights dance across the heavens, Iceland reveals its most surreal beauty. Those green and violet flames, like fire from myth, remind humanity of its smallness and its eternity within the universe's embrace. Iceland, a land that does not boast, yet forever imprints itself on the soul of anyone who enters it. Iceland, the land where ice and fire meet, where Viking legends intertwine with modern life, where women step forward, where sexuality is unhidden, where law and nature together shape humanity. A small nation that has painted a vast portrait of freedom, equality, and harmony with the earth. This is not only the story of a distant island, but a mirror held up to us all. Do we dare to live true to our essence? To seek balance between desire and restraint, between tradition and freedom? Iceland whispers a reminder: freedom is not only a right, it is the way we choose to live. If you found this story of Iceland captivating and thought-provoking, leave a comment, give it a like, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel to explore more wonders together. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, press 2. But if it didn't quite impress you, press 0 so I'll know and create videos that touch you even more.